Assalamu alaikum. Indonesia, one of the largest Muslim majority country, is known for so many things. And one of the most fascinating things about Indonesia is that it has a civil, or what you call a progressive idea of Islam, other than among other things. So, and to make Indonesia more inclusive and to make it more progressive, the role of education has been paramount. So to talk about the education system, and particularly a school that has over 15,000 students, and it's a boarding school, and it does not get any funding, donations, zakat from the government, and even not the donations, and has 15,000 students in Indonesia, has a fascinating story. To talk about the school, I have with me the person who runs this school, Dr. Umi Waheeda. Thank you, Dr. Waheeda, for joining me.
You're very much welcome.
My first question, what is this school that has over 15,000 students but does not get any donations or funding from the government in Indonesia?
When I started the school with my late husband, Almarhum Habib Sagaf, he's a sheikh, in 1998 when we had this revolution in a way, where the President Suharto, he had to be toppled over, so there was a lot of riots, and then when we had to seek refuge in this village, that was the beginning of this boarding school. And then in 2010, my late husband passed away, and before he passed away, he said that, Wahid, I'm leaving you the school and the Wakaf assets. Meaning the Wakaf assets, we have rice fields, we have rice factory, and then we have the coffee farm, and then the coal mine business, timber business, and other factories. That is 25 business units with the Wakaf assets.
So just to clarify, what does it mean to have a Wakaf asset? It means you cannot have the profit, or what does it mean?
In Islam, in Islamic Sharia economy, we have the Zizwaf, Zakat, Infak, Sadaqah, and Wakaf. Zakat is compulsory. Every year when you have a certain amount of income, you have to pay out the zakat. And then infak and sadaqah is voluntary, and wakaf is also voluntary, but it's in a form of assets. So my late husband, he has these assets of land, factories, businesses, 25 business units, and all that to support the Islamic boarding school. So our tagline was free and quality education supported by social entrepreneurship. A lot of people would ask, how come I never asked for zakat or infaq or sadaqah or hibah in a way? Because in Islam, they have that categories for the du'afa, for the poor, for the orphans. We have that, and it's our right to receive that. But when my husband passed away in 2010, I met with a lot of his friends who were once, can be said, his business partners, the donors to our organization. They told me straight in my face, Umi, if you cannot run the school, because I was telling them, even though my late husband has passed away, I'm still running the school. Please continue contributing. I don't ask for money, just buy the rice for us, because we need 7 tons of rice every day, and we use 1.5 tons of coal to cook that 7 tons of rice. And if, as usual, when my husband was alive, you were always supporting with the rice. And what did they say? They say, if you cannot continue with this organization, don't come begging and just close the school. I was shocked because to me, I'm not asking for myself, not asking for my 7 children, my 7 orphans. It's for the students, and the students are our responsibility. They are orphans, They are street children, abandoned children, and it's our responsibility to take care of these children.
So the students in your school come from these backgrounds, right? They
Yes.
don't come from rich backgrounds.
No, none.
Right.
I don't allow rich people, rich children to come to my school because if they go into my school, even though they like this curriculum because it's very integrated and holistic, and multiple intelligence is applied in my curriculum, I still don't allow them because they have a lot of other boarding schools in Indonesia, Islamic boarding schools. There's so many in Indonesia, and there are like about more than 30,000 Islamic boarding schools in Indonesia. But of course, all of them are paid.
So like parents have to pay.
They have to pay,
Right.
and I'm the only boarding school in Indonesia that is free, and maybe in the world, and free in terms of food, accommodation, education, and meals. From that day onward, I never want to ask for donation or to do crowdfunding or fundraising. I think it's a waste of time. Sorry to say. It's not that I'm arrogant, because when I look at all the wakaf assets that my husband left to me, they are very productive. Depends on the person who runs the wakaf assets, right? If it is going to be just thrown aside and forget about it, of course it won't be productive. And when it's not productive, that means it won't incur income for the school. So I go to these farms, I talk to the farmers, I tell them that we are taking in all the assets. I tidy up all the assets and we make a contract. You use our land, we divide the share, and you must sell your millets, the rice millets, to our factory, rice factory. And then I went to the coffee farm and I talked to the farmers, and most of the farmers are my students' parents. So they work on my farm and they send their children to my school. And I go to the coal mine business, and it's really professional. When you talk about coal,
Right.
you cannot just about anybody can do it. They are proper professionals. And from then on, I slowly make all the 25 business units productive. And Alhamdulillah, now it's 14 years already. From 25 business units, we have expanded to 65 business units.
Awesome. So what are the broad areas of your business?
And we focus in fuel, food, energy, water, and waste business. Because fuel, the food, energy, and water is a basic needs. Right. And all humans produce waste. Right. So that is my main business, because I focus in the captive market of 15,000 children. 15,000 children need from top to toe, whatever they need, I produce. So I don't buy. Even my cattle, my goats, I don't buy their feed. I produce their feed. And from that, I have surplus, I sell. The fishes, I have the feed also. I produce the feed. Surplus, I sell. So everything that is in the system is an ecosystem, integrated system. So I create the halal value chain from upstream until downstream, end to end, and everything that the system needed, I'll produce.
Right. So how many students and teachers are in your school?
15,000 students, and the staff are 1,000.
Right. And what is the curriculum? Like, what do you teach?
So we have a secular education. We teach them English, mathematics, Mandarin, Japanese, of course science, all that, because it's part of the government curriculum. And we have our own Islamic curriculum. That means they have to memorize the Al-Quran, one day, one ayat. They stay with me like more than 10 years, some even 15 years. I'm sure they can memorize the 6,666 ayat of the Al-Quran, just one a day, no big deal, right? And they also memorize the hadith, and most of them can be said that 90% can speak very good Arabic, read and write also, the Nahu and the Saraf, all that. So it's 50% secular education, 50% Islamic education. And I also teach them business and social. Business in a way that, because I want all of them to become social entrepreneurs, not only
This
entrepreneurs.
is my next question. What kind of jobs do they get after they graduate?
They don't get jobs, they create the jobs. So they are the job creator, not the job seeker. That was from my late husband. He wanted all my students to become entrepreneurs. First, they have to become educators, they have to teach, and their teaching should be for free, even though teaching, reading the Al Quran is as easy as that. Their neighbors, their villagers, no big deal, but for free. Where did they get the money? Where they get the rizq, the halalan toiban wal barakah rizki, is from the business. So they can become traders, they can become merchants, or they can become entrepreneurs, have a food business, like what I say, they have a meatball business, and then they have kebab business. To me, when you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you are at a phase where you are very, in a way, like you're very independent.
Right.
You give salary to other people. You don't wait for salary every month, and that makes you really dignified.
So is there only one branch of your school that is only in one area, or there are different branches in Indonesia?
I cannot afford to open any more branches because I just want to focus in one place, one area. But of course, we are expanding. We are buying more lands. I just recently bought a fish farm of about 700 700 square meters, and I'm buying some more rice fields. And I'm just hoping that my students, my alumni, will set up more institution like us. Of course, not massive like us. I I told them, even 10 children staying at your house, feeding them, teaching them, I think that is enough. I don't want to put more pressure on the students, on the alumni, because I know it's not easy for them to become like Nurul Iman in other places. And I always tell them, it's okay, you just do your best and just do your bit.
Right. So if there is a related question, at what ages do they start working?
When they are in university, usually when they are ending, they are doing their research.
There is no
Because
child labor, right?
again, no child labor.
There would be a question. So yeah, yeah.
No child labor at all. Most of the students, they usually they really focus in the businesses, in the field, are all those students who have graduated. So they already earn a bachelor degree. In Indonesia, it's honors degree because it's 4 years.
Right.
And they go into an internship program of 2 years.
Right. And do you have collaborations with any other country or organizations?
I have business partners from Japan. I have 3 businesses with them. The filter water, the inside of the filter water, that is the activated carbon. And from the activated carbon, not only for the filter water, but also for activated carbon soap, that is very good for skin problems. And then I have the fermented black garlic. And I have the factory in Bekasi. Bekasi is like 4 hours from our place for the factory, and that is from the Japanese company. From the Chinese company, they are from Taiwan, and they are Buddhists. For the Japanese, they are Shintoism. So they are all non-Muslims and non-Indonesians. The Chinese, we have this bird's nest collaboration. So they teach my students how to run a bird's nest factory, and also, since my students can speak Mandarin, so can be a translator in the business. And with the Koreans is taekwondo training, and others with Nigeria, they buy our products, and then Senegal, they buy our kofia. So our tagline is from Nurul Iman, by Nurul Iman, for the world. So because most of our products have been exported to other parts of the world.
Right. So there are a lot of people who are watching us. Some are Muslims, some are not Muslims, some have like no religion. What message do you have for them for such a self-sustained boarding school system in other parts of the world?
Um, as I told you before, I was a speaker for this sustainability of social organization, and I was speaking with these professors from the Harvard Business School, Oxford Business School, Kathmandu University, and UCLA Business School. And of course, they are all theorists, they are professors, they write journals, they do research. But I'm the only one who is the practitioner, and I'm an activist for social entrepreneurship. Because for a social organization to be independent and sustainable, you need social entrepreneurship. We cannot let the social organization to be dependent, always asking, always wanting philanthropy acts and then donation, crowdfunding, fundraising. I think it's so boring and it's a waste of time. It's not that I'm arrogant, but I think the energy for that is better used for working in the field or doing businesses or trading. I think that is more fruitful than asking for donations.
Yeah, and that's fascinating. But how can people start if someone has money and they have good intentions? So, what would be the first step, in your opinion, or in your suggestion to the people?
Buy the land first.
Okay,
The land is a capital.
right,
Like how I started with my late husband, we got this piece of, we have a villa, 21 rooms, and a piece of land, 3,000 square meters. And that's how we started the first boarding school. So the first batch of children, they came in, the girls stay in my house, the boys stay at the rooms behind, there are 5 rooms. And then he bought a piece of land because we stay in the rural area. When you want to build a boarding school, be it Christian, Jewish, or Islam, have to be in a very place where it is rural. If possible, there's nobody around. Maybe like Michigan is so quiet,
right,
but this is downtown actually,
right.
right?
Yeah, it's not
But
so quiet.
yeah, in Indonesia, it's difficult to find a very quiet place unless you go out of Java. But we are staying in Java. It's very crowded place. But
I was in Jakarta and I realized that.
it was in
Yeah,
Jakarta. But and the lands are very expensive because when you want to have a boarding school, you need the tranquility. When you're studying about religion, about Islam, or when you want to really focus in memorizing your mathematics formula, you need very tranquil atmosphere. So my husband we already have this villa and the piece of land, and then he bought the land in front of our land, which is to build a small masjid for, because that land was surrounded by a Chinese cemetery. So my advice to anybody who wants to start a social entrepreneurship boarding school like mine, start with a piece of land, and then you build a mosque, a small mosque, a small masjid. The students will sleep in the masjid, eat in the masjid, study in the masjid, and then slowly buy the land, because land is the capital. And then I'm sure there will be rich people or business people, they come, oh, so poor thing, these children are sleeping in the masjid. Okay, I have some money, I will buy the cement,
right.
set up the foundation for classrooms, for dormitories, and that's how we expand. So we started with only 3,000 square meters, now it's already 36 hectares.
Right.
So there are 2 masjid, one for girls, one for boys, and then all separated classes, dormitories. You should see my kitchen. It's so huge, and then we have the factories all in one place. The tofu
But
factory,
students get married, right?
that is later after they finished their
Right.
internship of 2 years. I matchmake them and get them married, and then they go back to their villages.
Your matchmaking is fascinating. Please share. How do you matchmake?
I The boys will write down their bio data, their picture, and then we will send to the girls. The girls will choose, and they must choose from the same village or the same area where they come from, because sometimes it's difficult to try to understand another culture, because Indonesia has about 500 ethnic languages in that way. So it's always the girls who will choose the husband.
Right.
Because I study ecological psychology. Men will always see the visual picture. They never care whether the wife to be is a bimbo or can take care of their children or take care of the house or can cook.
Right.
But for a woman, they will see the man as somebody who can take care of them and the children. So I always like to say that women will always look at the pocket for of the man, and they are very logical, but not for men.
Right.
So is the priority is the girls will choose their husbands.
Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Waheeda. I'm
You're
really
very much
looking
welcome.
forward to visiting your boarding school.
Inshallah.
Maybe next year and having an interview with you in the boarding school.
Inshallah.
Thank you so
Ameen.
much.
You're welcome.